Hi everybody, it's Wendy from the Lexington Senior Center. I'm here today to do just a muscle workout with you with your DynaBand. If you don't have one of these, we'd be happy to get one to you. We can either mail it out to you, or you could stop by the center, make an appointment, and we can run it out to your car. Our number at the center is 859-278-6072. You can just leave me a voicemail if I happen to be busy at the time and not pick up the phone, but I'll be happy to get you a band. You can also do the workout with hand weights if you want to, or not use any resistance at all, just really focus on muscle contraction. So grab your band, maybe a drink of water. If you'd like to have a chair to sit down and take a rest, or maybe hold on to every once in a while, that'll work fine too, all right? So let's just exercise. So we'll put the band down to start and just do a quick little warm-up. Maybe roll those shoulders a little bit. Circle those wrists some. Wiggle those fingers. And we'll just march a little bit, just get the blood pumping. So you might want to do one of the cardio workouts that we have listed on YouTube and Facebook before you do this muscle workout, or maybe take a nice walk around the neighborhood and then come back in and do your muscle work. That'll get that blood pumping and get some blood into those muscle groups before we work them real hard. Let's tap the toes out front. Doesn't matter which foot you tap first, we're just trying to get some blood going, lubricating those joints a little bit. Maybe push out front with those arms, just easy. Let's flex the foot. Maybe push those arms down, almost like an upright row. We'll try to work all the main muscle groups today. We won't do a lot of reps, but we'll do enough to give you a good workout. And you can always do that workout twice if you want to. Maybe a few bicep curls. Go back to the toe tap. But let's tap behind the body. So of course I need to remind you to pull that tummy in a little bit. That should not affect your breathing. Just try to contract the abdominal muscles slightly. And we're going to bring the toe up under the body. Take the arms and give me a little scoop back. Almost like you're grabbing water in the ocean and throwing it up on you. Tapping the toe directly under the body. Relax your arms. Take the toe to the side. Think about a shoulder shrug, nice and slow. So working that brain a little bit, got a couple different rhythms going. And your breathing should be pretty natural. A couple more. Good, stop there, just shoulder roll a couple times. We're gonna slide the hands down about mid-thigh. Push the hips back, round the back, tuck the chin. Almost like you look like a cat that's mad, you're rounding the back. And then relax back into a more neutral position. And then round again. Tuck the chin, tuck the belly button, tuck the tailbone. Then roll up nice and slow. Couple good shoulder rolls. And then we're going to pick up our band. We'll do just a couple things for the fingers. Let's just grab it with one hand and just sort of work those fingers a little bit. Bring that band up into the hand and then just switch sides. So trying to lubricate those joints in the fingers. The one thing about the DynaBand, sometimes it can be a little tough on your hands because there's no handle to hold on to. And then relax it, wiggle those fingers for me. Good. We'll just hold the band for now. Let's do a few squats, maybe 8, no added resistance. Just sitting back, pressing those heels into the floor as well as the toes, but we want to push back with the hips. The chest stays lifted. You can do this workout seated. You might want to do some sit stands if you're going to work in your chair most of the time. And then we'll come up, shake those legs a little bit. Now the thing about working your legs, it tends to get your heart rate up because you've got those bigger muscle groups working. So if you start to feel like you're breathing a little bit heavier, that is totally normal. Let's go ahead and take the band. I'm going to put it around the thighs, mid-thigh. I talked about this in the other video. You will probably want to put a little baby powder or cornstarch on your band to keep it from sticking together. So sometimes you'll see like a white residue from the band, and it's baby powder. We use baby powder here. So we will tighten the band just a little bit, okay? Just some added resistance. I'm not going to fully knot the band because it'll become so tight we won't be able to get it out. So we'll just work the first part of your knot. We'll start with the legs separated a little bit. I'm going to squat, but I'm going to push one leg out. So we want to work that same good form, but I'm going to step out with the right leg. So I'm going to step and pull in, and then the left leg works. Now if you're seated, you'll probably just want to open and close the leg one at a time, pushing out to the side. Good, chest stays up, pressing those hips back. Almost like you're pushing the hips back to sit on the very edge of the chair. Let's try to do 4 more. Breathing as normal as possible. Couple more. Good, relax it. Maybe push those hips side to side a little bit. We'll untie the band. We're going to flatten it out a little bit. And then we'll step on the band. I'm going to suggest shoulder width apart for your feet. So I'm going to step on the band. It's going to go definitely under the instep. Now the closer I take my hand to the foot, same side, the harder that's going to be. That's going to give me some additional resistance. All right, so you decide how hard you want that resistance. You can always adjust. So I'm going to work the right side of the body first. You can just relax the left side a little bit with the arm. I'm going to shift my weight into that left leg. And then I'm going to extend out in that side lift. Knees are soft, so I'm going to press out and in. Out and in. Hips, knees, and toes facing front. You could also hold on to a chair here if you wanted to. Nice and smooth. Sometimes we push out and let that band pull us back in. So we want to try to make that movement as smooth as possible. A couple more. Good, relax it. Push side to side a little bit into those hips. And then we'll just switch sides. So you might need to adjust how much resistance you have. We shift the weight. The knee is soft on the stabilizing leg. Hips, knees, and toes front. We press side. So we're going to abduct our adductors here, inner outer thighs. That stabilizing leg, we want that knee soft. As smooth as possible, and you can always take a break. You can go slower than I am. Whoops. Couple more. Good, relax it, push side to side a little bit. Maybe wiggle those fingers. Roll those shoulders some. And since we're in this position, we'll just go into our bicep curls. Now you can stay with 2 feet, or you can go into a single foot. All right, up to you. We're in a split stance. Remember, the closer you take the hands to the feet, the more resistance you're gonna get. So I'm gonna close the fist. We're gonna work a hammer curl. So I'm gonna work up and press down. Elbows in close. I'm not really rotating the palm, but trying to focus on that upper arm. So the front of the upper arm, the bicep. That muscle that when you ask your grandkids, show me your muscles, they sort of pop that muscle up. That's the one we're focusing on. Knees soft, feet pushed into the floor, or if you're seated, you're gonna sit up nice and tall. And usually that bicep is a pretty strong muscle for most people. We use it a lot. Couple more. Good, relax it, wiggle those fingers. So I'm gonna pretty much stay in the same position. You might wanna have just a little bit lighter resistance. I'm gonna crisscross the band. My palms are facing the body. I'm gonna work my upright row. I'm gonna alternate the arms, so I'm gonna pull up and press side. Going to about mid-chest with the hand. So about where mid-sternum hits, coming across the chest. Driving the elbow up and side, but also pulling back a bit with it. So I'm thinking about that shoulder blade. Nice and steady. Nice straight wrist. We'll do a couple more on each side. Good, let's relax it. Uncross it, maybe take it out from under there, wiggle those fingers a little bit, get a quick little stretch, press those arms back, your palms are up, and then we'll flip the thumbs down, palms back, and open up the chest. Maybe pat yourself on the back a little bit, get that quick little release, and we'll stay in our neutral stance. Work a little bit of rotator cuff. So I'm going to go in much closer with the hands. So my palms are up. I'm going to bring my elbows into my rib cage. I'm going to take the thumbs out. Now I'm at about a 90-degree bend in the elbow. Knees soft. So I'm going to open and close, but keep those elbows close to the body. Tummy is in, and you can always make that resistance a little bit easier by sliding some extra band between your hands. But you should not have slack, all right? So we want to have resistance even on the recovery. So as I take the elbows in, I'm pressing those hands out. Couple more. We're going to go out, we're going to pulse, little presses. So those shoulders are still, those knees are soft. Try to press 8 more, little presses, nice and controlled, don't bounce. Here's 4. Good, relax it, maybe roll. You're going to feel that up in here, so if that's where you're feeling it, it's perfectly fine. Maybe give yourself a little hug. We'll switch that arm on top. So we're almost going to go into the same position. The hands are about shoulder width apart. My palms are going to be up, and I'm going to extend the arms out. And all I'm doing is opening and closing as wide as you want to. But this time I'm working with a straight arm, and I'm thinking about those shoulder blades a little bit. Those arms are about shoulder height. And your breathing is just natural. You can also focus on that exhale on the hardest part of the movement if you find that it starts to get really challenging. We'll just do a couple more. Good, relax and roll those shoulders. Circle those wrists a couple times, both directions. So I'm actually going to go back to the legs again. We're going to go back to those inner outer thigh work. So I'm going to flatten the band. We're going to do one more set of those. So feet about shoulder width apart. Remember, we make it harder by grabbing closer to the feet on the band. We're going to work the right side first. So I'm going to either hold on to a chair, or I'm just going to stabilize by contracting that core, soften the stabilizing leg, and then we're going to work that outer thigh so you get a slight tip. So I'm going to lift and lower, nice and steady. Knees are soft. Want to flex that foot a bit. So I'm not really transferring any weight into the leg that is working. Couple more. Good, relax it. Push side to side a little bit. We'll move into the opposite side, chest is back. You can do all or just a few of the reps. All right, entirely up to you. Here we go with the lift. So we're gonna lift and lower. Pushing against that band. Typically the legs are stronger than the arms. So don't be afraid to choose some resistance that's challenging. Good, a couple more. Good, we'll relax it, push side to side a little bit. So I'm gonna take my band, I'm gonna pull it into the middle. I'm gonna grab both parts of the band with both hands. All right, so I've already pulled up, but I've got a little bit of resistance. We're gonna do just a few deadlifts. So you're gonna tip from the hip. I'm gonna allow that band to almost sort of pull me down, but you wanna contract the belly, keep the shoulders back and down, and control your movement. So I'm gonna tip, working only into that flat back, and then I'm up, and I stop when the shoulders are over the hips. So I've got a tip, tummy is in, I come up, squeeze the tush, open the chest. Now the knees can be soft. You don't want a huge bend in them like a squat. But we also do not want to lock the legs. And the hinge comes fully from the hips. So when I tip, I'm pushing the hips back, working into that flat position. I'm coming up, contracting the tummy, contracting the gluteal muscles. Breathe it nice and steady. Let's try one more. So that tip. And that pull up. Good. So work at the back of the body. Go ahead and relax. Take your band off. Out from under those feet. Maybe shake a little bit. Wiggle those fingers if you need to. How are we feeling? Might want to get a drink of water or take a quick little break. We are going to move on a little bit. I'm actually going to take the right hand in a down position, and I'm going to take the left hand in an up position. And I'm going to work about shoulder width apart to start. And then I'm going to work more of a diagonal. So I'm going to take the palm that is up, and it's going to be the one that works high. So I start with the palm up, or you could say palm facing front. But when we pull out, that palm is going to go more in an up direction. So that is the high arm. So I'm working high and center. High and low and center. So a little bit more of a diagonal, but I'm working with long arms. Soft elbows with long arms. Exhaling on the hardest part of the movement if you can't maintain that steady breathing. Let's try one more. And then we'll flip it. So I'm going to take palm up, palm down. Arms are long. So I'm working up and down. You work as many or as few as you want to. Nice and steady. So as I pull, that band's coming a little bit closer to my chest. Maybe one more. Good, relax it, roll. I tend to not count repetition. I try to work the same amount of time on each side. So if you're someone that really likes to make sure you get the same amount of reps on each side, feel free to do more or less than what I'm doing. I tend to just exercise for time. So I've had someone ask me about that, and that's really how I do it. But you do what feels best for you. Okay, so we are going to move on. We are going to work some triceps. And I'm going to show you a couple different exercises for triceps. The first one, you have to have a pretty decent range of motion in your shoulders to be able to do it. So I will give you the option for the second exercise. First exercise, if you can take your hand and sort of pat yourself on the back, chances are you're going to be able to do that exercise. If you have trouble getting the arm up, you're probably going to want to go with the second option. But option one, I'm gonna take the band and I'm gonna put it behind the head, behind the back, with that elbow bent. And then I'm going to actually reach up the back and grab the band. Now, the higher I reach, the harder it's going to be. So you might want to start out a little bit lower, but I'm going to grab the band and pull it down towards my tailbone. And that is my starting point. So the elbow stays in close to the ear. We don't want to have this working out here. So the elbow stays close to the ear. We're working the tricep extension overhead. So that's option one. All right, option two, and I will switch a little bit for you. Option two, I'm gonna step on the band. So if I'm going to step on the band with the right foot, I'm gonna work my left arm. So I'm gonna step back with the left leg. We've done these in class, I did these on a prior video. So I'm gonna hinge, you're gonna pull in, and then I'm working a kick back. And people will ask which one is better. They both target your tricep very well. So you decide what you want to do. All right. So I'm going to do a few, like 8 reps on each side in each one of those exercises. So you decide what you want to do, and you can follow along. And because you're using a different option, that's fine, not a problem. So remember, I'm going to grab the band up the back and pull it down. Knees are soft, chest is out, so I'm going to work nice and high. And in class, when we do these, a lot of times I'll see everybody all of a sudden start looking at the floor. Just try to keep that head up. Elbow stays close to the body. Good, we'll switch sides. Now, you can work one arm overhead and then the other side working that tricep extension kickback if you want to. That's fine. You don't have to work exactly the same on both. So if you have a good range of motion in one shoulder and you want to try the overhead press, and then on the opposite side do the tricep kickback, that works for me. We'll try to keep those elbows close to the ears, focusing on the back of the arm. Maybe a couple more. And we'll go into the kickback just so we have an opportunity to practice both kinds. So I will set up to the side this time. So if I want to work the right arm, I'm going to step on the band with my left foot. Separate. I'm going to grab the band, get that nice hinge. I'm going to pull the elbow back. Remember, the closer I take the hand to the feet on the band, the harder it's going to be. And then I kick back. I press back and pull in. Now you can rotate the palm to the sky if you want to, or you can just face the body. Couple more. And I'll just switch sides. So it's opposite leg from arm is really all you need to think about. So opposite leg from arm. So I'm going to kick back, get that little bit of a hinge front to pull in, and then I press back. Maybe a little bit more weight in the front leg than the back leg. Focusing on the back of the arm. Maybe 4 more. Good, relax it, come on up, maybe give those arms a shake. Reach around, give yourself a hug. Just make sure you switch that arm on top. You can also get that little release by coming across. Maybe give a little bit of a shake. We're going to take the band behind the back and come up underneath the armpits. So working chest and back a little bit. You can work a neutral stance, you can also split it. The closer I take my hands to my body on the band, the harder this is going to be. So the more band I have between armpit and hands, the easier it's going to be. So I'm going to flip those elbows up a little bit, and then I'm I'm going to take the palms down. The knuckles are going to work forward. I'm going to push straight out to start. So almost like you're pushing the wall away from you out in front with your knuckles. And then when I pull back, I'm going to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Take a quick check, see if I'm pulling my tummy in. Good. We're going to hold in. We're going to take the thumbs up. So I'm going to push out to the sides. And then I'm going to swing around the front. And then I'm going to pull in. So I'm going to push outside. Swing around the front nice and slow. Palms together and then pull in. So I push outside. Come around the front and pull in. So I push out, knuckles out, coming around and I pull in. Push out to the side, almost like an airplane, coming around and I pull in. Push out, coming around, pulling in. Good, we'll neutral stance. All I want you to do is give me a few little punches. Punch and punch. Nice and controlled, a little bit slower than if we were punching in our cardio segments. Maybe a couple more. And then wiggle your fingers a little bit. We're going to take the arms up. So I'm going to get at that 90-degree bend, and all I'm going to do is open and close. So I'm going to open and close. Open and close. So I'm going to that position where I look like a football goal. Or if you take yoga, sometimes they call it a cactus pose. Maybe two more. We don't want to do too much for those shoulders. Good. Front, give me little presses. See if you can press your forearms together. See if you can get 8 little presses in there. Maybe 4 more. Good. We're relaxing it. Take the band out. Shake those arms. Wiggle those fingers. Maybe gently open and close the fist. Good, we're going to go overhead with the band. Now, if you have limitations with your shoulder range of motion, maybe work the exercise without the band, okay? And just work on a good range of motion for your shoulders. So I'm going shoulder width apart. Palms are going to face front. I'm going to keep the band forward of the head. All right, so I'm not going back over the top of my head. So it's going to come forward of the head. All I'm going to do is alternate to pull down. So I'm going to pull down and up. And you want to maintain a little bit of tension on the band as far as pulling the hands apart from one another. So we're not getting loosey-goosey up there in the middle. So if you think about pushing the knuckles up and forward a little bit to where the ceiling and the wall meet out front of you, but driving the elbows back and down to where the wall and the floor meet behind you. Good. Nice and steady. We probably have enough time for a couple more. Nice straight rests. Excellent. Relax it. Wiggle. How we feeling? Bring the ankles underneath the hips. Let's just do a few calf raises. You can always hold onto your chair or countertop if you're near there. Knees are soft, so I'm going to lift and lower. Now sometimes in class I'll see this stuff where we start wobbling, or we start tipping forward. We want to try to keep the hips over the ankles and the shoulders over the hips. Ears over your shoulders. So you're just sort of stacking on the way down. Typically the knees are forward of the hips a little bit because we just want them to be soft. If you're someone that is concerned with your balance, working calf raises, ankle circles, toe taps on a regular basis will really help to improve your balance. Ankle flexibility and leg strength. Those are 2 key things to focus on to maintain or improve your balance. 2 more. Good. Maybe give those legs a little bit of a shake. Wiggle your toes a little bit. We'll finish with just a quick little core segment. So I'm going to step on the band. Probably mid-band, doesn't matter a whole lot because you're going to decide your resistance by how close you are working to the foot. So we're just going to do some side bends. Now the hand can stay relaxed. You can put it on your hip. Some people like to take it here, but watch it, you're not pulling on your head. The fingertips should just barely touch. But I want you to focus on the armpit and the hip bone. Okay? So we're trying to take the armpit a little closer to the hip bone. This side is really just our added resistance. My focus is here on the side that doesn't have the band. So we've got the knees soft, so I'm going to give a little tug. I'm taking that armpit towards the hip. Maybe working that exhale on the way down. And a nice straight line with your neck as best you can. Maybe a couple more. Good, we will switch sides. So remember, the closer I reach to my foot, the harder it's going to be. My knees are soft. So my focus is actually this side, the contraction here, right? Armpit working to the hip bone, chest up, knees soft. So I'm going to work down. Exhale, and I'm coming up. So I'm thinking about that little bit of a lean to the side. But try to keep the same amount of weight in both legs. Working the exhale. And if you notice, the arm that has the band just stays straight. We are not working a row. We're just giving a tug as we try to increase that resistance. Probably have time for 2 more. Of course, you could do more or less if you want to. Good, relaxing it, taking that band off. Maybe wiggle a little bit. Set your band down. Let's circle and wiggle. Relax your belly, give me a gentle little twist. Gentle little twist. And then swing those arms front to back, but they're nice and loose. Maybe across the chest. Couple big shoulder rolls. Step back 1 foot, doesn't matter to me which one. Press your heel down a little bit. Come into that front leg, bend the knee, tuck your hips under. Then bring those arms front, push them out, separate your shoulder blades. And we'll just switch sides. So we have a couple of videos, a basic step. Back leg is down, tuck the hip, open the chest this time. We have a basic step video. We have low impact that will help you with your cardio if you want to take this resistance workout and sort of partner it with a different workout. So check out one of those. Or like I said earlier, you might just want to walk beforehand or even after. We just want to try to keep moving as best we can during these times. We'll come in. I want you to keep those legs relatively straight, but don't lock them. Hands start on the thighs. We're going to slide down. You either stop right above the knee or work right below the knee. Flatten your back, lift your hips up. Press your hips back, get a little stretch for those hamstrings. Tummy is in. Then we'll really bend the knees, put the hands above the knees. Start at your tailbone, round your back, roll up. Roll those shoulders. Give that nice big hug. Switch that arm on top. Give those hands a shake. So I appreciate you all tuning into our videos. And like I said earlier, if you need one of the resistance bands, just give us a call. 859-278-6072. We'll be happy to send one out to you in the mail, or you can make an appointment to stop by the center to pick one up. We sure do miss you, and I can't wait to see you all. Stay happy and healthy, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.